Okay, so I'm recording this to just put out into the public, for the public to have, for the people, and I normally present this to like friends in Discord calls, but I just want to like have this summer for you all, and I want you to know that 1, it's a whip, and 2, I'm not going to be reading any of the like dialogue unless I think it's super important, so like just pause if you want to read anything. So yeah, before we get started, it is very important to me that this post is how I feel about Tsukasa Tenma. And for people who are not aware, people really like to make him like really depressed and suicidal and stuff, which I don't understand. He's not that. It's giving depression toast. And for those who don't know, basically people were expecting this card to be like super angsty or whatever, and it just turned out to be him holding a piece of toast. I think this post is also relevant, and I will mention moments of mischaracterization as we get there. So I have a bias for Rui, but I will try and balance them as best as I can. But here's like their basic character motivations and info. You can pause to read this if you'd like. The only main important parts I'm going to read out is here. I think it's important to note that Tsukasa has a very strong main character syndrome, in the sense that his personality can be interpreted very differently very easily, hence why the very first slide was me forewarning you about all of that mischaracterization. And then it is also very important to me that for Rui, you understand that while yes, he loves to tease his friends, he is not a flirt. Wonderland Showtime is the first time he's made genuine connections, and he is still learning how to have friends, aka he does not have time nor confidence to flirt. So how it starts is Tsukasa lands a spot working for Emu in Phoenix Wonderland, and the two go spotting for more members, running into Rui doing a street performance with his drones, and they watch and they're like, oh my god, that's great, he's amazing. And then this is Rui's like first introduction card that like every character gets, and it's basically he's like performing on the side of the road that's like he's almost in a spot where he's not supposed to be put in like public doing shows, so like there's a cop telling him to leave. This is their very first interaction. Yay, meet cute. So initially when Tsukasa asks Rui to join Wonderland Showtime, Rui's like no, but then Rui thinks about it and he's like, well, actually, I could invite my childhood best friend Nene to come with, so, like, maybe I should actually say yes. And then Tsukasa's like, I promise I will, like, follow your directions to a T, like, I will do it. And that's, like, basically all the buzzwords Rui wanted to hear, so he's like, yeah, okay. This is important to ruikasa lore, but I just want to point out how this dialogue further encourages my prior point that Rui was telling a story about himself. He very much so was. There's, like, no argument against that. Basically, during their first show, like actual show, Nene Robo runs out of battery, and it basically ruins the show. And Tsukasa gets like really fucking pissed at Nene, and then Rui's like, I will protect you, and they get in a big ass fight, and then Tsukasa has this whole moment, like he has this whole realization that he was in the wrong and everything, and Tsukasa's apologizing to everyone, and Rui's the last person he apologizes to. And it's like, it's Tsukasa being like, I'm gonna show you my true feelings right here. Sorry, I skipped ahead. But, I mean, this is just general knowledge. I kind of threw this in the middle here, but yeah, this is just, Rui being angsty on the side of a street, telling his story about how he's alone again. Tsukasa has the bright idea of jumping Rui in the middle of an alley, having Emu and Nene hold him down so he can't run, and Tsukasa says this shit. And for context, Tsukasa is planning on putting on a personal performance specifically to apologize to Rui. Once this play is ending, Kaito steps down as the role of alchemist for Rui to accept Tsukasa's apology, but instead, Rui just doesn't accept the apology. He just starts critiquing the play like immediately, and that's his like little cheeky way of being like, yeah, I accept your apology. And it was really silly, and they're stupid, and I hate them. This is the first Wonderland Showtime focus event. It's Halloween. Basically, due to Rui's directing, Tsukasa gets hurt, and then he just, like, is acting a little different because of it. This entire event is just, like, basically about trust. Like, it's heavy on trust. And, when they basically start, arguing, Rui and Tsukasa do, because Tsukasa's like, you're holding back, and, like, I don't want you to hold back, because I want to be the best I can be, and I want you to be the best you can be. And Rui's just like, I'm literally not holding back, and he is. And so when the argument's over, and like Tsukasa leaves, Rui's like, Nene, was I tweaking? And she's like, a little bit, dude. Tsukasa then confides in Emu, revealing that he's not actually angry with Rui, he's just upset that Rui couldn't see how odd he was acting. And then Rui and Nene go to the Sekai to confide in Kaito, where Rui drops the most vulnerable lines out of nowhere. Basically, Rui tells Kaito that he was most likely acting on impulse as a defense mechanism he's created for himself in fear that everyone he knows will inevitably leave him. Then Kaito and Nene are like, Tsukasa's not gonna leave you, dude. And then the next day they apologize to each other, and it's like the resolution. Here are the cards. This is like the scene when Tsukasa's first noticing that Rui is like holding back, and then this is the train for that. And then this card is Rui confiding in Kaito, and also these plushies are like specifically supposed to be Rui and Tsukasa. So if you ever see art of Rui with like heterochromia, it's because of this cat. Here's dialogue, pause if you want to read. Again. The afterlife, yeah, edit. I came back from like a year later to add these in. You'll be able to tell when I remembered afterlives exist. Transgender event. Jokes aside, this event has some backstory on how Rui and Mizuki have known each other for years and show both their growth as people from then to now. Mizuki points out to Rui that he finally looks like he's living life ever since he met Tsukasa, and they also reenact Romeo and Juliet. It was really like out of pocket, especially because Rui doesn't even actually perform in the play that Tsukasa's putting on for this. He's just like, yeah, let me be Juliet. It's weird. He's weird. Here's the Juliet scene. And this is Rui over here, and then here's them up on the roof. Here's the dialogue, you can pause to read, but it's basically Mizuki being like, wow, you're a lot happier now. And then here's the wedding event. It honestly was not much, but it's still nice to note that basically the event was Tsukasa was sick and he couldn't perform at a wedding he committed to, so he entrusted the role to Rui and Toya. And yeah, not really Ruikasa, but Rui has a moment where he's like, yeah, Tsukasa is great, because normally all my friends leave me by now, and Toya's just like, dude. Autism event. Okay, this event has a lot of insight of Rui's childhood. It gives a lot of context for why Rui is constantly talking about friends leaving him, and how thankful he is for finding a place within Wonderland's like Showtime. We will not talk about the cards for this event, because all of them are insensitive portrayals of indigenous culture. The only aspect this resides in the actual story of the event is the play they're putting on, which can be easily ignored for those who are interested in the rest of the event. The backstory included within this event really just shows how hard it's been for Rui to find a place to belong within social standings, and how throughout his life he's never been able to find anyone who can fully devote themselves to his directing. And then, wow, I wonder if we ever found anyone who fully devotes himself to his directing. Again, pause to read, but this is basically at the end of the event where they finally put on the show that Rui's been wanting to put on for years, and like they trusted his directing and they trusted Rui's account on making sure everyone would be safe during the stunts. This is the They Go to Florida event. It's an Emu focused event, but there are some moments I feel I should mention. When Tsukasa gets off the plane, he poses to commemorate being in America, and Rui thinks this is funny enough to just take a picture of him. And then Rui and Tsukasa find a lost little girl at Project Sekai version of Disney, and they help her find her parents. All of this for the if you know, you know. First of all, gay cake, and also he's holding it with his hands. Second of all, there was a thing on Twitter where people were like, what if this means that Rui is chasing after Tsukasa? And then I also saw people doing this where like they said the stars intertwined, and then like the pink and purple, blue, whatever being Rui and the star being Tsukasa. Like people were reaching. I commissioned this like when this event came out. It's very cute. And then here's a link to, in the description I'll put a link to this slideshow and you can go find all of these. But basically this is a link to when Tsukasa speaks English, and it's canon that Rui can speak fluent English, and after this event you can find an area conversation where Rui is helping Tsukasa with English homework. So from this event on, the time of making this, March 10th, 2023, these events are not on English Sekai yet, aka not on the wiki yet, aka I'm not including dialogue anymore because I don't feel like rewatching events just for this. If I have some screenshots on hand or I feel that I must, then I will include those. Live, laugh, love. Just as a precursor, there is still a lot of dialogue. This card set, these are exactly a year apart, these cards. They were both for the White Day events. They both have cards that take place in a fantasy AU. Tsukasa is a white knight and Rui is a crooked mage. This is also called, I'm gonna be real, I don't know how to pronounce that, I don't know, but there's a ton of really cool interpretations and AUs for it. From what I've seen, at least, it's the most popular canon AU. So, yeah. I need to note that I love that they made Rui the treble clef, because it just makes sense to me. So for the cards, Tsukasa's card takes place inside a book where the music sheets and writing are all nods to the plays that they perform, and the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star appear. And then in Rui's card, it shows him holding a book close to his chest, which is very much implied to be the same book that Tsukasa and alongside Emu and Nene's cards are all taking place in. And then, fun fact, they have a duet in this commission song where Tsukasa wishes happiness upon Rui. For this event, Tsukasa is given the role of a character that has the complete opposite personality and morals as him. He has a lot of trouble trying to stay in character and is upset with his skills as an actor. Rui places part of the blame on himself because he is responsible for keeping Tsukasa in his comfort zone in terms of what role he has been given to play. And then, basically, Rui tells Tsukasa not to come back to Phoenix Wonderland until he's able to completely understand the character, and this leaves Tsukasa alone with his own thoughts for the first time in a long time, and I really remember how he's an amnesiac. I say this half-jokingly, but TLDR, Tsukasa remembers how he used to teach Saki, his younger sister, how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and is able to confide in the character role he was given because he and the character both often look to the stars for answers when they're deep in thought. And then we get this line. As a director and your friend from the bottom of my heart, I am really happy to see that you're one step closer to your dream now. And it's all thanks to you guys, Rui. So I'm pretty sure that the official translation got rid of the bottom of my heart line, but I don't remember. Take that with a grain of salt. Afterlife, my stupid. Pause to read if you want. I like this event. I like that they get stuck on a stupid island. They get deserted on an island, and it's made canon that Rui knows an insane amount of detail about plants and which ones are poisonous and not. Rui's also glad that they find bananas and not a vegetable, or that they find bananas because it's not a vegetable, and he can eat it because he hates vegetables. Rui and Tsukasa get on a piggyback ride to reach food, and it's like everyone, not just them, but Tsukasa sneezes and everyone falls, and it's silly, but the important part of this is that the actual plot of this event is pretty bittersweet. When you get to the end of it, it basically talks about how everyone will eventually have to part ways because even though everyone's dreams align right now within Wonderland X Showtime, they will soon have to part ways to truly be devoted to their dreams. Everyone is now conscious of how they will have to one day not be together. And then loneliness melts away with a touch of passion. This is a line Rui sings for this event's commissioned song while waving at Tsukasa. This event also puts the seed in your head that, like, Emu and Rui's dreams align and Nene and Tsukasa's dreams align, so it's kind of like, well, we're gonna have to split up, but if we get to stick together, it'll be at least with this one other person. Rui's card story for this event has a silly moment between him and Tsukasa about Rui's diet. I don't really feel like playing this right now, just go watch it if you really want to, but it's basically what I mentioned earlier about Rui being like, I'm glad we found bananas, and yeah, it's good. Yay! I talk about this one a lot. I like this event. So, in this event, Rui is approached with the opportunity to fulfill his dream previously shared in the event mentioned just before this. However, this opportunity means that Rui would have to leave Wonderland X Showtime in order to seize the offer. He was offered a spot as a director for a very well-known group. It is known that Rui is afraid of directing people other than Wonderland X Showtime. When Rui first has to direct this group, there's a sweet moment of Wonderland X Showtime making sure he's alright and up to the task. Rui spends the event weighing the options of whether or not he should leave Wonderland X Showtime or not. However, he does not confide in them even when Nene and Emu offer. The rest of Wonderland X Showtime have no idea about Rui's offer to leave. After their final promotional show, these promotional shows have been going on for almost a year now, Rui confronts Genbu, the actor that gave Rui the offer, and Rui accepts his offer to leave and has come to the conclusion that he is going to leave Wonderland X Showtime. However, Rui almost starts crying while trying to accept Genbu's offer, to the point of Genbu declining for Rui because Genbu feels too guilty about separating him from Wonderland X Showtime. Rui then makes his way back to the group and they're cleaning the stage. Basically, Nene has a moment where she's like, wow, you look a lot better now. And then they get on the train and Nene and Emu fall asleep like immediately, and it's just Rui and Tsukasa, and they have a heart-to-heart where Tsukasa and Rui talk about how much they cherish one another next showtime and their time together, and Rui thinks to himself how selfish and greedy he must be, wanting both to stay with one another next showtime and pursue his dream. Here are the cards. All of the background like papers in Rui's are like past shows that he directed, and I like to interpret this hourglass as like how Rui wants time to stop, and so it's like tilted but the sand is still flowing the way it should because he can't stop time. And then with Tsukasa's, if you look at the hourglasses, the closer it gets to the stage, the more time is running out, so it's basically a depiction of how they both interpret time passing, so yay! Rui's commissioned song for this event is about him recounting memories with one another next showtime and just wishing he could stay with them forever. Despite this being Rui's focus song, he doesn't sing in it that much. This is purposeful to draw attention to how Rui is distancing himself from Wonderland Next Showtime. Throughout the first half of the event, he only sings with Miku. Not until the latter half does Rui sing with the rest of Wonderland Next Showtime. And I have little examples of like them, but no Rui. Not to mention that there is a clock in the background for most of the frames. Like, if it's not obvious by now, Rui has a lot of issues with time, and this is more in favor of Polyshow than ruikasa alone, but I think it's important to include nonetheless. Their bow ties complete each other, and I think that's just peculiar. They also are wearing earrings on different sides, but Rui's always wearing an earring. I also want to delve into how Rui's self-worth issues play into ruikasa as a ship. Rui tends to overlook his self-worth towards the group and others in personal relationships, while simultaneously taking charge to make sure everyone else is okay. Rui is selfless in this regard, however Rui never sees it as such. He claims that he is greedy and selfish for wanting to make them stay with him longer. Tsukasa as a character, though, is seemingly born for the caretaker role. It comes naturally to him, and this creates an interesting dynamic of Tsukasa paying attention and giving Rui the credit he deserves, even if Rui doesn't realize it himself. I also think it's small but important to note that the hourglass, the hourglass is like half and half in terms of time, and then Chronos is a measure of quantitative time or an exact time, and I said, oh, I'm sure. Here is a lot of moments through the event. I'm not going to read all this. Pause if you want to read. The only part from this is just that you seem to trust Tsukasa a lot. Yes, I do. I don't know. I just think that ruikasa is, like, based on trust, like, a lot. So it's like, yay, whenever they mention it. This is just him being gay and stupid. This is the moment where Tsukasa falls asleep on his shoulder. Pause if you want to read. More pause if you want to read. It's basically just them talking to each other and confiding in each other on the train. And then this is after Tsukasa falls asleep and it's rethinking to himself. So yeah, somehow the official translations made it gayer. It's funny to me because someone on the wiki for this event was like, haha, there's the shippers making the translations gay, but like, no, you don't understand. The official English Sekai translations are the hee I'm such a romantic, not the how greedy of me. Like, what the fuck? Then the afterlife is the moment that I realize afterlives exist, because I forgot, and it's basically just Tsukasa being like, what the hell, you had a problem, why didn't you talk to us about it? And there's like, after this event, I'm pretty sure is like the re-birthday card where Tsukasa's also like, please talk to us if you have an issue. So it's just a constant of Tsukasa being like, please confide in me. As I'm making the slideshow, this event isn't even out yet, so good luck to future me. And I made this before the event came out. This was like the leaks of the night before it dropped. But I put, why is Tsukasa specifically pulling the strings on the plushies in only Rui's card? Edit, I have now gone through the event and I don't see any correlation. All the balloons Tsukasa holds resemble a different event. And the sorrowful farewell at a curtain call depicts two people holding hands, and I like to think that it's Rui and Tsukasa. And also, the unexpectedness is the best part of the show. I always think that Rui and Tsukasa's lyrics that usually have to do with like fate and stuff like is like a parallel to how they met on pure chance, but that's just me. Here's dialogue. You can pause to read. Rui gaffs, and I said, oh, I'm sure, again. TLDR, Tsukasa's putting everything he has into this role, and Rui is like, hey, do what you must, but I'm gonna make sure that you don't actually injure yourself in any way. And side tangent, this is the event that is notorious for mischaracterizing Tsukasa, whether it be people taking clips out of context, because this entire event is Tsukasa trying to get this role, and so whenever he's like portraying the role, it's very angsty, and people like to take that clip and make it seem like it's his original thoughts and not the character he's playing. And then people also like to say that this event is Tsukasa having an eating disorder, and I think they're a little stupid, because that's not what having an eating disorder is. Basically, what happened was he didn't eat for like one day, and then he went on a run to get into character, and it's like, that's literally not what having an eating disorder is. My Tsukasa, not to be insane, but what if this moment is supposed to be a parallel to how Tsukasa and Rui have different dreams that require them to separate in order to fulfill, and Rui not interfering here and specifically also stopping Emu because they get paralleled a lot is a way of the narrative showing us that the audience, that Rui's accepting Tsukasa's dream. Also, if people want Tsukasa angst, this is the actual Tsukasa angst. Of him saying, no matter how much I practice, no matter how hard I try, I fall short of those around me. Oh my god. This is the afterlife. He's silly. I didn't fucking read this all the way, oops. When this event dropped, I read the raw translations at midnight, and I got confused at like chapter 4 and stopped and forgot to finish it. And then I put, if there's a ruikasa in here, it's unknown to me. Like, of course there's a ruikasa in it. It came free with your fucking One in the Next Showtime, but like nothing huge. Hey guys, so I read it. It was honestly way more Nene Kasa pilled than ruikasa. It had the classic pair up the lonely Rui and Emu watching Tsukasa and Nene improve and move on with their dream. And this could be interpreted as ruikasa, but honestly I think it's just more important to show Rui's character, so I want to include it. I love this event. Yeah, I also haven't read it, but a teacher walked in on them and Rui hid Tsukasa under his blanket of his bed and like, dude, weirdo, I hate you. To expand upon that, basically a teacher walks in and Tsukasa isn't supposed to be in the room with them on this field trip, so it's implied that Rui hides Tsukasa under his futon with him. Update, I read it, and it's one of the most ruikasa events to ever ruikasa. Rui goes on a school field trip and gets to hang out with his classmates and Tsukasa. Classmates by the end of the trip tell Rui that he's really changed ever since he met Tsukasa, and Rui realizes that thanks to Tsukasa's encouragement, he was able to befriend people despite the other people not having an interest in shows or directing. And then this is just like the part where Tsukasa's asking Rui to hang out with him during the event, but he worded it as, then how about going out with me? Which I was like, what the fuck? This was just my initial reaction to it. Here's like the actual dialogue with better screenshots, but you can pause to read it. But it's a lot. It's basically Rui being like, thank you for giving me the chance to change, and Tsukasa's like, well, I mean, you wouldn't have changed if you didn't want to, so don't like forget to give yourself credit, which plays into what I was saying earlier. Edit, somehow I forgot to originally mention how the next morning they go to watch the sunrise together and skip rocks at a real life location that's known to be a couple spot. All of this with Rui being like, Tsukasa's given me so many reasons to smile, which has in turn allowed me to make new friends and establish new connections. I wonder what the future has in store for me. Anyone else think it's kind of beautiful how Tsukasa alone is able to flip Rui's fear of time progressing into hope? Just me? Here's the afterlife. How can I make this about ruikasa? I need to fix that. I'm sorry, I'm a failure. But yeah, it's easy to make it about ruikasa. It's literally like the exact same conversation they had, but with Len. Our happy ending, it's mainly an Emu focus, but there's a lot of scenes of just Rui and Tsukasa supporting each other, and it's really sweet, but that happens in every event, so yeah. I think it's really funny how tonally different their cards are. Just in general, this event is peak, and I won't be talking about it much though because it's not very ruikasa heavy, but if you like One in the Next Showtime, you should go watch it because it's really good. Here are some lyrics from the commissioned song from this event. Okay, so basically all of the events for the fourth round I kinda am not the hugest fan of, so I don't really go into them as much, but we'll get there when we get there, aka right now. It's a setup event, setting up for plot or whatever, so not much happens. Tsukasa gets a role where he has 3 lines and he has to be like, aw man, okay. And Rui's card name is called Tickled Curiosity, which is silly to me. I wish I could say it was chance and fate is basically implying that they hope that they're destined to meet in every universe. This is what is on screen when that lyric goes on, by the way. And by the way, Rui's the only one singing this lyric. They just happened to add Tsukasa for whatever fucking reason. Here's the Rui event. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, and a Riley what their opinion on Cyberpunk Dead Boy is. So here's my opinion on Cyberpunk Dead Boy. You can pause to read this or skip it entirely. This is not ruikasa focused at all, and it's just me complaining. But basically, a TLDR is me being like, these lyrics really don't make sense for being a Rui focus. But it's whatever. Yeah. They really painted this event to be really angsty and Rui being really mad in the song and everything, but in the actual event, the event was Rui being an apprentice for a movie director and learning more about how to set a tone in a movie through dialogue and camera angles, and then at the end some random person wants to scout him. That is literally it. There's no angst in it. They are all just chilling. I don't know why the event is so angsty with the song and art and everything. Sorry if you're this person, but I got really upset at this TikTok because I went to go read it and this was literally not in the card at all, and I was like, what are you waffling about? But if it's not obvious, I'm not the biggest fan of this event. At least nowadays I can listen back and I enjoy the songs and everything, but still. And then if you enjoy this event, more power to you, genuinely. This is their World Link event. It's kind of like an intermission. Basically, they find a new area in the One in the Next Showtime Sekai, and since this Sekai was born from Tsukasa's feelings, all the sentient plushies here take on traits of him and other members of One in the Next Showtime. It's a really cute way of showing the audience how Tsukasa perceives his friends, and kind of gives no one the excuse of not knowing these things anymore. But anyway, here's my proof that this Sekai was born from Tsukasa-kun's feelings. It may have been influenced by the things he's experienced. This is basically the zombie plushies are what Tsukasa basically sees Rui as, and it's hitting the nail on the head, genuinely. But pause if you want to read this. More of Tsukasa clocking Rui, but it's basically just Rui being damn, I used to be lonely, but now I have friends, so that's pretty great. Okay, let's partake in some literary analysis. So what do you think it means when we've been given the information that Tsukasa subconsciously sees Rui as someone who believes that they will never be able to fit in with their peers, so they tend to self-sabotage and self-isolate to avoid rejection altogether? Alongside, Rui watches the subconscious manifestation of himself go through the motions of this thought process in real time, knowing it's Tsukasa's subconscious of how he views Wonderland X Showtime members. If your answer was, it means Tsukasa knows Rui's deep insecurities and actively tries to help Rui better himself as a person without Rui realizing at first, you'd be correct. It is a direct parallel on how Rui is helping Tsukasa become a star, except Rui doesn't realize this exchange immediately because of its nuance. This is kind of a direct callback to the event that I was literally just talking about with the school field trip, because it's literally Tsukasa helping Rui get out of his shell of talking to people, so yeah. Hi Emu! I haven't reread this event yet, so literally all I have is to show you these pretty pictures. And same with this event. I like the kitty. Here's all the miscellaneous stuff now. Here's the 2nd anniversary animation. Keep in mind that the Journey to Bloom version of this scene is so much gayer. Here's the other 2nd anniversary MV. This is of the... Sorry, I should have mentioned. This is all of the intro story. It's covering the intro story, and then this one is covering all of their first focused events, which is basically... This is the Halloween potato becoming potatoes. Here's Neo, and it's the 3rd anniversary event, and it's really good. If you watch Rui, he's looking at Tsukasa before closing his eyes and smiling, and no one tweet can read into the way Rui looks at Tsukasa before ultimately regretting his decision to leave Wonderland Showtime without saying a word, okay? 4th anniversary, Nepu. No hate, but the animation in this MV is so nothing. I don't even feel like turning this into GIFs, so you're just getting these screenshots. I could even go on a whole ass rant about this, but I shan't. but I will go on a side tangent. It's very underwhelming, and to be fair, One Night Showtime doesn't have much going on this year in terms of their events, but it's not even that. It's just like the quality drop from Neo to Nepu is kind of like baffling to me. Here's the original MV, and they kind of like took a bunch of infamous moments and just put it into the MV. Here's Journey to Bloom, Happiness, and also I put links at the top of all of these. Basically, it's minimized the intro story into a 5-minute episode, and I just turn them all into GIFs whenever they interact. Here's that one moment right there. Here's them fighting. My dupids. I'm just letting them play out. Let's really soak this one in. Okay. Everyone say thank you to Journey to Bloom, because this is the same scene, and the difference is crazy. Disclaimer. If I get any of these upcoming live concerts wrong, like I put a GIF to the wrong concert, please be nice to me. I really tried making sure they're put with the correct concert. Second anniversary concert. There is no first anniversary live concert. And again, I put links to everything at the top. I turned a bunch of shit into GIFs. This is during Nikori. I love watching the difference of how much energy they put in. Third anniversary live concert. There's obviously more than this, but basically there's a version where during the duet section, it's either Emu and Nene doing Alien Alien, or it's them doing Fixer. And I also turned this into GIFs. Here's the Connect Live for One of the Next Showtime stories. So basically, after the main arc of One of the Next Showtime ended, our happy ending event, One of the Next Showtime had a Connect Live in-game to celebrate. It was basically a cute little story about the troupe finding the Vocaloids and encouraging them to sing again, aka they perform a song with every Vocaloid and a couple extras as an encore. Someone translated all of it and uploaded it to YouTube, but it got taken down, so shout out if that was you. And anything you see that's translated was from my initial watch through, aka this right here. Smaller moments that you'll have to take my word for unless you go watch it fully is that there's a scene of Rui meowing and like Tsukasa jumping in front of him and like getting mad. Rui making Tsukasa improvise, and it's also very silly, and then there's a part of like Rui imitating Tsukasa and they do a little pose together and it's really cute. Connect Live second anniversary. There is no first anniversary. Not much happens in this one, it's just cute, and I guess they get like specific outfits for this, but they only perform 2 songs, like it's not much. Third anniversary, please take a moment and just watch Tsukasa and then Rui, and then please compare and contrast. You can pause to do that or go back or whatever. And then I just wanted to put that, I remember when this came on, it made me burst out laughing because every song that, like every commission focus song, they had like the untrained card art in the back, and this picture just makes me laugh. Connect Live 4th anniversary, it was such an upgrade from the 2nd anniversary. Every group performs their new commission song of the year, except Nene, they do Glory Steady Go. If more characters than Nene perform an older song, it's news to me. This is another case of please watch both and compare and contrast. I also do want to note that I fucking love Glory Steady Go. I can't remember, but maybe Nene just didn't have a focus song yet. I don't know. Anyway, difference in their jump is also very funny. More from the 4th anniversary because I'm a greedy lardo. He like holds his foot here. They both had like to do little poses, and it's just I like them. Okay, Puchisekai. Looking at these things for too long make me mad, so just watch it if you care that much. I put little links. His ass is dead. Basically, in the first Puchisekai, Tsukasa puts on a play where he dies in the play, and there is a lot of angst art about it, but I'm gonna be real, I can't take any of it seriously. It's really funny to me. And then the second one, Rui makes a time machine, and Tsukasa gets wrapped up into it, and they accidentally make clones of themselves. An also gets wrapped into it, but it's not about her right now. Matching separate card art. The clock tower in the back here is the clock tower Rui is on. People love these outfits, which to be fair, they are very cute. These are their birthday cards, and the flower Rui's holding is an aster, which can also mean star. This balloon is supposed to be Tsukasa, and as we know, this kitty plush is supposed to be Rui. Here's art of, or cards where they're like in it together. More. Here's 2D MV art. Here is the scene when Tsukasa is wishing happiness upon Rui, and if you zoom in enhance, he is blushing. More. This is technically promotional art, but who gaff. These are the only high-res album art covers I can find at the moment. I will be updating this later. Promotional images. It's so fucking hard to see, but where is it? Like, right here, this is Rui's glove on Tsukasa's shoulder, and also right there. More. There's probably even more. Yeah, you get it. I'm on the grind. Here's some 3D MV stuff. Beautiful car outside my window. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just, like, go through all the 3D MVs and watch them. It's worth it. Here's 4 comas and 1 comas. You can just pause and look at these if you really want to, but the only thing that I want to mention is that there is a 1 coma that was one of the first ones to exist, and it's Rui being like, I want to be the modern day, and then it was like this well-known Japanese inventor, alchemist, I forget, but basically he was known for being openly gay as well, and the official English Sekai version was him just being like, I want to be the modern day Thomas Edison, and it's kind of funny to me how they just completely wiped out, like, the ulterior meaning with that one, I guess. I don't know. More moments of them being silly. More. I really like Puppy Tsukasa. More. I really like the Sanrio as well in this one. Here are commissioned song lyrics that make me go, you can pause to read these as well. It's up to you. Same with covered songs that make me go, The Cat's Life cover is insane. Area conversations, these are all pause to read if you want, so I'm just gonna go through these. La 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 la. April Fool's Day 2022. In 2022, Project Sekai basically swapped all the groups, one of which consisting of all the guys in Project Sekai, aka Rui and Tsukasa, in the same group, even though most group members were purposefully split up. The group is called Fantasia Squad. In this canon AU, Tsukasa and Rui are implied to have performed together as an unnamed duo up until they recruit Toya and Akito to join them. April Fool's Day 2023. Basically, for April Fool's Day, they went to Miku Academy, which is a school for music that they were all put in different classes. Tsukasa's class was known for having good grades, while Rui's was known for having lively members. They just made one giant song for this April Fool's Day where every character sings in it, and I love it. And even though Rui and Tsukasa are in different classes, they still stand next to each other in the MV, which made me so mad. Just go stand with your class. 2024. This year they put characters in a random group again like 2022, but for the promotional art they put like some characters in the past and some in the future. It has nothing to do with whatever group they got put with. Rui and Tsukasa are put in different groups, but people still count this as a win, and by people I mean me, because I think it's just really funny of the contrast for like the style that they were given for their song. Birthday 2022, I like their stupid gay flowers, and the dialogue makes me smile. There's the little part of Tsukasa saying, Rui, I know you don't hold yourself back anymore with our shows, but even in private, just like this time, if there's anything you want us to do, just say the word. Birthdays 2023, update, nothing of note, but they get cute little etching cards as always, and little 4 comas. You can pause to read anything. Birthdays 2024, I don't know if anything will ever be as saintly ruikasa as the flowers, it's too peak. I can't remember anything of note, so this is a reminder for myself to go through their birthday stories and grab screenshots, which I have yet to do. Yeah, I can't find 2024, but I'll do it someday. Pause to read if you want. Pause to read if you want. This is a little thing of, again, Mizuki being like, wow, you seem to have a lot more fun now that you've met Tsukasa. And here's the anthology. I'm gonna be clicking through these pretty fast too, but basically my favorite one has yet to be translated, so yeah. They are cute. Fun fact, Rui has 6 fingers in this. But yeah. This one is yet to get, like, officially scanned, I guess. Here's the one that I give a fuck about heavy. TLDR, Rui and Tsukasa are now in the same class, and Rui surprises Tsukasa with his inventions, and it starts stressing Tsukasa out a lot. And then Tsukasa goes around asking for help from different friends, and all of them are like, no. And then it cuts to one of like Showtime, like jogging for their stamina practice or whatever. Rui and Tsukasa have a nice moment on a bench where Rui apologizes for being overwhelming, and Tsukasa understands that Rui is just excited and happy that they're now in the same class, so he forgives him. Whatever, go my Google Translate, because this is my volume I have in real life, because you can't really find it online. Here's a bunch of miscellaneous shit. Yeah, they are known as the 1-2 oddballs. Their Kizuna ranks are Weirdo Combo, Top Star, and Best Show. Rui is the tallest boy, and Tsukasa is the shortest boy. At the time that I wrote this, they'd covered 5 songs together. The song Nonsense Bangaku is about a lonely person learning to trust someone special in their life. In the commission main song, they are referred to as the Thick-Skinned King and the Alchemist Full of Desires. And then Rui's mentioned Tsukasa a shit ton. He's mentioned him like 329 times at the time that they made this statistics, and Rui's second place was 100 less than that, which is crazy. And I know that off the top of my memory, Tsukasa's first place for the character he mentioned the most was Saki, which makes sense, and then Rui was his second, so yeah. They are for some reason related to the numbers 1 and 2 a lot, and even being too specific to the account posting promotional art of them on the 12th or 21st of the month. Here's more stuff of them. This is still kind of a whip. I like their Sanrio designs a lot. There's also a thing with Rui where his hobby is balloon art, and then there is a card of Tsukasa holding balloon art. I know it's for Smile of a Dreamer, but like still. Costume-specific miscellaneous. Is this anything? Can I be let back inside, please? What I'm trying to convey is that when Rui's clothes are black, they are white for Tsukasa and vice versa. And then to be clear, at the bottom, it's Tsukasa's first costume and Rui's second. Rui stole his little frill thing. And then, this is not ruikasa, but it's a side tangent. I once saw someone say that the first time the sprite debuted, they had Rui's buttons on the wrong side, which indicated the opposite gender. I never knew that this was a thing, and I can't find any screenshots of the original sprite, so take this with a very big grain of salt, but I just am a fan of the trans Rui headcanon, so I wanted to include it. This is also a whip, but it was just like miscellaneous lines that I could find. And then that's it! Yay! And I just wanted to say that 1, thank you for listening, and 2, I am linking this slideshow in the description, and if you're ever watching this at a later date, feel free to go check, because this is just like a constant whip of me making sure it's up to date or adding stuff. It's just like a personal side project of mine that I like to do in my free time. So yay, thank you!